Every season of Survivor is a story, but sometimes that story can be told over the course of multiple seasons. Some players will only have 2-part stories, while others can play 4 or even 5 times and have a much longer tale. Why do some players rise and fall and never recover, while others can fall and still get back up and succeed? Well, today we are going to witness the rise and fall of Amy Cusack, who first played on Survivor's 9th season, Survivor Vanuatu. By the way, if you want to pick what videos I make, then consider supporting this channel on Patreon. It is an optional way to support this content and grants you access to see everything I make up to 6 months early. Link in the description. Thank you for your support.
39 days, 18 people, 1 survivor.
Amy Cusack, a 31-year-old coffee barista from Colorado, was a castaway on Survivor's 9th season, Survivor Vanuatu. By the time she finished playing, Survivor had experienced possibly their most cutthroat female player of all time. So, how does she fare in a season divided by sex? Let's find out. Survivor Vanuatu opens up in a very unique way as Jeff tells everyone that they are about to take place in a local ritual and that they need to remember that this is not their homeland and they need to be respectful of what is about to happen.
You're going to take part in a tribal ritual.
It's going to impact each of you differently. At times you may find it beautiful. At times you may be repulsed. You are in a foreign country. Remember that. This is their culture. We are only visitors.
Upon arriving on the beach, the natives immediately separate the men from the women, and the women are pushed aside and told to watch as the men get treated like kings. This is when we hear from Amy for the first time as she tells us this is strange for her. She isn't used to being treated as anything less than a man.
I was waiting for our turn. I was like, well, okay, well, when do we get kava? But it never came around. I'm not used to being put second behind a man.
After the ceremony, the tribes are sent on their way and the men and women are officially separated. And while there is a lot of drama at the women's camp, Amy mostly stays out of it and lets it play out.
Some of the gals are down there on the beach, basking in the sun, chitty-chatting.
Oh, praise the spirits for the sun.
However, when building the shelter, there happens to be a clear divide between those who are working hard and those who are slacking off. Amy is part of the hard working group and is not part of the drama whatsoever.
Dude, are they building shelter right now?
I don't see them. Twyla has been working on the shelter constantly. I feel like her continuous work has made those of us who have taken reasonable breaks look bad in her mind to think that, oh, they're not pulling their weight. Hey ladies, looking great.
We had too much chatting and not enough moving. Mouths are working, but the hands ain't.
At the immunity challenge, the men are unable to get everyone across the balance beam, so the women win.
Yes, sir, across the finish line, the women win the first challenge. Reward and immunity.
And that is it for the premiere episode. It's a very quiet beginning for our main character, but it helped that there was so much to cover in this episode in terms of events that there wasn't a ton of time for character development. As of now, it seems impossible to tell where the story is going for her, but let's trek on and discover it together. Episode 2 begins and Dolly is not having a great time in Vanuatu. The lack of sleep and food is really getting to her, and Amy hugs her and gives her a shoulder to cry on, really being just an empathetic ear.
I've been crying, but nothing's wrong. It's just coming out of me naturally.
The women then win reward, and back at camp, all of a sudden, a chicken comes walking across their camp, and the chase is on. Everyone tries to corner it and catch it, but they also forget that chickens can kind of sort of fly unless their wings are clipped, and this is a wild chicken. They do end up finding the chicken's nest though, where they get some eggs to eat, and Amy likes how the tribe is getting along, and them being all women helps is what she thinks.
The good news about being a tribe of all women is that we care about each other. We want each other to succeed. We haven't had to start voting people off yet, and I think we can win the next challenge.
However, she sees a divide starting to form between the older and younger women, and she gravitates towards the older women, but she still doesn't trust anyone.
The good news about being a tribe of all women is that we care about each other. We want each other to succeed. We haven't had to start voting people off yet, and I think we can win the next challenge. I definitely see groups forming. The two groups that were formed, I think, are like the older generation and then the younger generation. I think I gravitate more towards the older group just because they're really willing to work. But this is a game of non-trust. I view the first day coming in, do not trust anyone. Don't trust anybody.
At the immunity challenge, the women lose, and back at camp, Dolly tells Amy the plan to vote out Leanne, showing trust with Amy. However, Amy is a friend of Leanne and doesn't want her to go home. So she tells Eliza and Leanne this plan that Dolly just told them, that Leanne is going first and then Eliza. This shocks Eliza, as she's supposed to be in on the plan to vote out Leanne and is part of the younger women's group. But why would she vote out Leanne if she's just setting herself up to be next to go? So this social maneuver by Amy seemingly flips Eliza.
I don't know whether I should vote for Leanne, stick with my original alliance, or I should vote off the person who makes me really nervous. I trust Dolly the least.
At Tribal Council, the tables are turned as Dolly is voted out 5-4, all due to Eliza flipping from the younger women.
Dolly, tribe has spoken. It's time for you to go.
Episode 3 has Amy being completely hidden from us in terms of the story. Though to be fair, there is so much happening this episode and Amy isn't part of any of the drama. Both men and women are having to go to Tribal Council, and since John from the men's tribe wins the individual immunity challenge, yes, there was an individual immunity challenge just for the men, he has to go back to the women's camp to talk to them and figure out who to give immunity to amongst them. Eliza tries hard to get it from him, but he decides to take the smart approach and observe someone who's completely safe and just give it to them instead. That person is Amy.
Out of everyone there, she was not getting voted off tonight no matter what.
During Tribal Council, Twyla is going on with her usual trash talk of how the younger women don't do anything and they don't like her and blah 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 blah, and she gets in a fight with Mia. Amy then jumps in and completely kills the fire Twyla has to fight by using her own words against her, and by the end, Twyla is smiling and laughing.
I am the tomboy. I do weld, I do fix trucks, I do those things. And it's hard for me to bring up conversation with these women that I feel I have nothing in common with. You know, until you walk in somebody else's shoes, don't judge.
Have you taken the time to walk in these girls' shoes and realize they're just girls? They like to play on the beach. They like to do girly stuff. Like, have you taken that time?
No, I haven't. I'll be honest with you, I haven't.
Do you realize that right now is your opportunity to like find the feminine side of you and just let go of this is what I am and realize there's so much more to you than just that? There is a wonderful
Maybe I don't have a feminine side to me. I don't know.
Mia is then voted out 5-3.
Mia, tribe has spoken.
Episode 4 kicks off with a reward win for the women as they find themselves getting a bush guide at their camp for 24 hours to teach them about where to find food and how to build a good shelter.
Daw was like just a big breath of fresh air. He really took our focus off each other and focused more on what's going on around us.
By the end of the bush guide's time with them, they all essentially conclude that the guide has just been so awesome, and I agree. He is no nonsense and he clearly knows a lot. Amy says that he has given her more confidence and has really helped strengthen the tribe of women. What we keep being shown about Amy is how she really cares about her tribe and that they really mean a lot to her.
Daw was like just a big breath of fresh air. He really took our focus off each other and focused more on what's going on around us. I definitely feel more confident that I could find food by myself, I could cook it by myself, and I think he really boosted team morale that we all have that confidence, and that's huge.
The women win immunity, and this is yet another quiet episode for Amy, and this seems to be the trend so far. But episode 5 begins, and there is a literal earthquake.
That earthquake.
Amy, however, says that she liked that earthquake and it made her do a happy dance.
But look at my hand.
It's rock and roll,
I'm happy. Woo!
I could do without that.
Then a huge shift occurs in the game.
Drop your buff.
It is time to shake things up. The long story made short is that the women's tribe, Yasser, now has Rory and Bubba on it, whereas the men's tribe, Lepevi, gained Julie and Twyla. Amy is in the majority on Yasser, but right away the tribes have a reward challenge, and Yasser loses due to Amy failing in the clutch.
It's up to Amy. She comes up with a marker, Yasser ties. She doesn't, Lepevi wins. Amy can't do it. We're out of time. LePevy wins reward.
Back at camp, everyone is getting to know each other, and Lisa wants to show Rory and Bubba how to chop the coconut like the bush guy taught them, and Amy says no. They don't need to learn the women's secrets, which confuses Lisa, and frankly, it confuses us.
We're going to show them how to do the coconut. Hey, did y'all see how...
Why? Hello?
Huh?
Why?
Why what?
Why show them?
Because I think it's kind of cool.
Well, we don't have to be cool. We can show them.
You don't want to show them?
We'll see. I don't know.
I'm like, why not?
What I got irritated with was I saw kind of a little bit of our bond disappear. The girls were so excited to show them everything. I just don't think it's really that important that we show them all of our secrets. But we're definitely still 5 women strong. That's not going to change, at least on my end, it's not going to change.
By the time the immunity challenge happens, Bubba and Rory know that the writing is on the wall and they are going home first. So when they get to the challenge, Bubba tries whispering to Chris to throw the challenge to save the men's advantage, but Chris ignores him and Amy hears all of this.
Serious. Think about the merge.
I'm annoyed as hell with Bubba right now. The second that we arrived at our challenge, I see Bubba making signals to Chris. He was communicating completely and Chris was nodding like, yep, that's right, yep, that's right.
The Yasser tribe does lose immunity, and back at camp, Amy uses what Bubba did and paints him in a disgusting light that is intended for people to grow negative feelings for him so they don't feel bad for voting him out, which is probably what they were going to do anyways. It is very effective and definitely makes him appear to be a villain to the rest of the tribe. Bubba then approaches Amy and says, hey Amy, if I'm going home, will you at least give me a heads up? But she acts kind of dumb and kind of mean to him and pretends like she has no idea whether he's going to go or not.
If y'all choose me, will you tell me before we go?
I don't see that whole y'all thing.
I'm not asking you to vote either way. I just would like to know.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
At Tribal, Amy continues to paint Bubba in a bad light by pretending that she thought they were all one happy tribe until Bubba signaled to Chris at the challenge. This is some expert work to paint Bubba as the villain, even though we know she had no plans to bring Bubba or Rory in.
This morning, I thought we were one team. I was excited about the challenge. I was ready to go. And I see Bubba making signals to Chris. And the second I saw that signal, I'm like, we're not a team. This is not a team here. I saw it happen.
However, she then volunteers the information by saying that Rory was going to go until Bubba screwed up, letting Rory know he's on the hot seat, putting him on edge, which is smart for short term until the merge, when it will prove to be bad in the long term. Bubba is then voted out 6-1.
Bubba, tribe has spoken. Time for you to go.
Episode 6 starts and the losing streak continues as Yasser loses reward and Eliza feels terrible since she was a huge part of why they lost. However, Amy, like she did with Dolly before, is there for Eliza and basically an ear to listen and shoulder to cry on.
You can cry, it's okay, because I'm sure there'll be times when I cry. I'm like, I suck. I'm sure there'll be those times. We'll all have those times.
I'm just not used to being bad at things, you know?
Yasser goes on to extend their losing streak to 4 with the immunity loss, and Rory feels like he is on the hot seat, and for good reason. But not so fast, as Lisa indicates that Amy might be gone soon, so she wants to know where things are, meaning the things that Amy knows about.
I'm gonna go with you. We're gonna go with you.
I can go really quick. Why? Do we need 3 people to go?
I'd like to go just to see where you're going and what you're doing in case, you know.
Lisa said, she wanted to know where the maniac was just in case I wasn't around. And I just found that quite interesting.
Amy sees this as a massive red flag, as she should, and Lisa tries to deny this. Honestly, I don't know if Lisa's telling the truth, but Amy is using this possible slip up to paint Lisa as the villain that needs to go, and Lisa was never on Amy's side anyways, so this is just deviously smart.
Lisa said, she wanted to know where the maniac was just in case I wasn't around. And I just found that quite interesting. Kind of like a, oops, did that really just come out your mouth? That's pretty funny, Lisa. You want to go with me just in case I'm not here for you to go get it. That's funny. That's what she just said to me.
That's not what I said. Amy, you're the last one that's gonna go, babe, you know?
It's just like, I can honestly say right now, I trust Eliza more than I trust Lisa. I'm sorry, but I just do.
I just want to know why.
Just because Liza's always been straight up with me. They're just little things that have set me off.
You know, you need to trust me. You need to
Well,
trust
honey,
me.
then you need to make me believe that I can trust you.
Well, I don't know. You know what? I'll be honest, Amy. I haven't done one thing to make you not trust me.
7th person voted out of Survivor Vanuatu. Lisa. Lisa, tribe has spoken.
True to my word.
Episode 7 begins and Rory is talking to Amy and Leanne about being part of their alliance going forward. He says Eliza should go next and she just grates on everyone's nerves, but we've already seen how Amy connects with Eliza, so Amy shuts him down in favor of a women's alliance going to the end of the game, which just makes Rory mad.
Unfortunately for you, the fact that the women had this alliance excludes you. What about the guys back home?
What do you mean? What do you mean? What about the guys back home?
Cuss at me.
What do you mean?
Don't cuss
Then
at
don't
me.
treat me like I'm some sort of lackey. What you want is you're playing me. And you want me to continue doing all the work and 110%.
I don't want you to do anything. Sit on your butt and have a good time with it, Rory.
Amy is playing from a seat of power right now, and she seems to be annoying others with what she is doing. However, the people she is annoying the most are going home, so she seems to be able to stave off any insurrection for now.
I've decided that I will go into self-destruct mode. I'm going to institute a slash, burn, and salt the earth policy. If I get voted off this island, the Yasser tribe will burn.
Yasser finally ends their losing streak and wins a reward which nets them letters from home and coffee. Though her letter we see Amy get, it makes her very emotional, and we find out her little brother died in a car accident when he was super young. Yasser then goes on to win immunity in large part thanks to Rory, and back at camp Rory says he rocked Amy's world, though she acts like she doesn't really mind. He says she could have had him as a friend, but now she's number 1 on his hit list. Episode 8 begins and Yasser is right back to losing again as they lose the reward challenge. However, it doesn't really matter as not too long after, another big moment of the season takes place.
Drop your bucks. You are now one tribe.
That's right, they're merged, and the women hold a 6-4 lead over the men. At the merged camp, Rory gets to work and tells Sergeant Chad that Amy has to be the first to go. He paints her as the ringleader of the women, and that without her, they all won't stick together. The men do not stand a chance with her around.
We've only been together like 10 minutes. And right off the bat, Rory let me know that Bubba got caught by Amy trying to throw a signal back to us. And he got crushed like a doggone bug.
Twyla and Julie have the men in their back pocket as the guys think they will be voting with them. They want Amy gone next, but Twyla and Julie say Rory has to go first and then Amy, which is good for one vote, but Amy seems to be on the hot seat with everyone all of a sudden. Amy then says that she doesn't really care who goes home next as long as it is a guy, and she's good.
I really wanted to just start voting out the guys one by one and have all women at the end.
Sarge then paints Amy to us as the queen bee. She's in charge of all the women and they are all under her spell, which just goes to show how good she is with the people she is with and how bad she is with the people she is not.
Amy has control of all the women. She gets them in her aura and pulls them in and then tells them what to do. And they run out like little chickens, you know, with their head cut off doing what she says. And she sits back being the innocent little girl that doesn't do anything wrong. And it's dangerous.
Amy then says she thinks Twyla and Julie are good and thinks that Twyla will never, ever leave the Women's Alliance. That is a lot of confidence in someone she hasn't seen in a while, and evidence has shown so far that out of everyone, Twyla is the most likely to flip.
I don't think that Twyla and Julie ever left the Women's Alliance.
At Tribal Council, Amy says that she brings a good attitude and that is what has gotten her this far in this game. However, the reaction shots we immediately see from Rory and Chad tell us we aren't meant to agree with this. When Rory votes for Amy, he paints Amy as a terrible person, specifically that she is a bad rash that he wants gone.
Amy, this is the first time that I've made a completely personal vote. Your treatment of me over the last 9 days has been horrible. I have little or no respect for you, and I really hope that, like a bad rash, you're finally gone. Thank you.
9th person voted out of Survivor Vanuatu. Rory, the tribe has spoken.
It is episode 9 and the men are blown away that Twyla and Julie stuck with the women, and it's clear now the men will be pagonged.
So this is men against women. It's the first time I realized that. I've never had anyone waver in my alliance, and tonight was the first time that the alliance wasn't true.
The women are being portrayed as a devious bunch too, and it's definitely due to their actions, because after the reward challenge, the women bring back some chicken wings, which they share with the other women while the men are all out at sea.
Oh my God. I feel like such a bad kid.
I know.
Man.
And instead of acting like they came back with no food, they give the men the bones and act like this is what they brought back and no one snitches. It's a very villainous look for all of the ladies. We will never know if Twyla and Julie were being truthful about voting Amy next after Rory because she wins immunity and secures her safety in the game.
Amy wins immunity. Only one person safe tonight at the vote. That is this woman, Amy.
Not too long afterwards, we hear from her about how winning immunity could raise her threat level, which is a good thought, but a little late at this point to try and lower it, considering the hot seat she is sitting on. Her best bet is to just make others look like bigger targets than herself, which she has been doing so far.
I won the challenge today. I don't know if that was the smartest idea in the world, just because I'm already kind of seen as a stronger woman.
At Tribal, Twyla openly says she feels better with the men than the women, and this should be raising a massive red flag for Amy.
I was stuck in the middle, and I think the women know. I felt more at ease over here with the men than I ever did with the women. You know, I'm not gonna lie about that. And it's tough.
However, Sarge is voted out 7-1-1.
Sarge, the tribe has spoken.
Episode 10 begins and Scout starts devising a plan to get out Eliza and Amy next, and she says that she sees Amy as strong and manipulative and doesn't want to move forward in the game with her anymore. They then have a reward challenge where everyone is split into 2 teams of 4. Amy's team wins and they get to go to a local village where they enjoy the culture, and she thoroughly loves it, but really emphasizes how much she feels touched by the kids.
All the children were gathered around this little tiny fire, and they were teaching the song that they had learned for the Americans. And their smiles touched me in a way I'll never forget. This was the highlight of my entire night.
Upon returning back at camp, Amy is sensing some weird vibes from those who didn't go on the reward, and the biggest of all those red flags is how Julie won't even look her in the face. What we know that she doesn't know is that basically everyone, while she was gone, decided to vote Eliza out, and then Amy.
So we got to keep Liza from getting immunity. Anybody get immunity but Liza. And vote Liza off. And then from there, we got to get rid of Amy immediately.
Yeah.
We've got to get Amy out because
she's the brains.
Coming back to camp, there was no welcome. Just could care less. Whatever, you had a good time, whatever, yada yada, sit down and do your work or whatever you need to do.
Scout says she wants Eliza gone, but Amy wants Chad instead for good reason. Men could go on an immunity run. For Amy to be successful, she needs every man out of this game. However, a flip may not happen as Twyla isn't willing to go with Scout and the 2 guys to make it a 4-4 tie where everyone has to draw rocks.
If she wants to go ahead and vote one of the guys out, she thinks it's stupid to vote for one of the women when you still got 2 guys that could win immunity. And she's right.
At Tribal Council, Twyla says you can't trust anyone, and Amy says, no, that's a load of crap. There's definitely people that Amy can trust in this game. Jeff says, well, we'll see if you're in the final 2 then, Amy. And she comes across as very cocky here. Chad is then voted out 6-2, and only 1 man remains in Chris.
Chad, the tribe has spoken.
Episode 11 opens with the family visit, and Amy gets very emotional seeing her girlfriend.
Come on out, Chrissy.
Oh my God. Wow. So good to hold you again.
Back at camp, it has been leaked that Twyla might have considered flipping to the men, but she says she is true to the women, please don't question her. Amy doesn't really listen or emotionally connect with Twyla, and it comes across like she is bullying her to stay with the women, when actually Amy is just not reading the situation correctly at all.
I can tell you all kinds of things people's approached me with, Leanne. All kinds of things. It doesn't matter. My heart has stayed true to you and Amy.
But you know what? Anytime that any guy comes to me or talks to me, I tell y'all. Anytime that there's anything said, but just listen. Nobody get defensive. Just understand how that kind of doesn't really look so good.
They were trying to work me like crazy.
Why don't you just shut them down? Why don't you say absolutely not? There's no way in hell. Go run on back to your little buddies and
appease them? Why do you just gotta
why do you have
appease
to
them?
even listen to 2 words? I have nothing to hear. Nothing. Bye. See ya. I just think Twyla got really twisted up in her idea of what making peace is and what the right and wrong thing to do is when it comes to a team.
On my son, I swear, and you all know how much I love that boy.
Amy once again assures that no one will be blindsiding her tonight when she wins her 2nd immunity for the season.
And they have it. Amy wins immunity.
Nicely done. Good communication with your partner. As a result, you are safe.
Back at camp, she wants Chris to go next, but it seems like Leanne and the other women do not agree and instead decide that the consensus is Eliza. Not the worst case in the world for Amy, as the women do hold a 6-1 advantage over Chris.
First vote. Eliza. Leanne. 1 vote Eliza, 1 vote Leanne. Eliza. 2 votes Eliza. Eliza. 3 votes Eliza, 1 vote Leanne. Leanne. We're tied. 12th person voted out of Survivor Vanuatu. Leanne, the tribe has spoken.
All of a sudden, Amy is shook. She has been in control all game, but 3 women just flipped and voted with Chris, and this is not at all good for her. Not at all. Episode 12 grimly starts with Amy picking a fight with Twyla, where she is blown away by the audacity of Twyla swearing on her son, and then at that same tribal council in the same episode doing the things she just swore not to do. However, this is a terrible social move by Amy to try and work things out with Twyla and potentially make something happen in the future.
I just felt like we was gonna get all screwed over, so I felt like I'd take up for the little guy.
Take up for the little guy. That's right. Cute. Well, you're taking up for your own guy, not for the little guy. You're the one who made the 4-way alliance. Yeah, I'm down totally all the way. Yeah, I'm in.
Screwed you, didn't I?
You didn't screw me. I'm still in the game. You screwed Leanne. I'm still here, baby, kicking hard. I'm just glad I didn't swear on my little brother or my family, because that would be really fucking.
Oh no, Amy.
I'm sorry. That's the truth of my life. That I'm pretty happy.
Twyla down and
Twyla put herself down. I didn't swear on my family.
Scout calls Amy cocky to her face, and Amy admits to this and says, "Yeah, I am cocky, but I'm also all these other things." And all those other things she describes as basically a lot of humble bragging, but it comes across as not humble at all. She then wins reward along with Eliza and Chris, so this is the perfect opportunity to try and get good with them since they both voted for Leanne at the last tribal. She tries telling Eliza and Chris to break up Scout and Twyla instead of getting rid of her.
But something that I think would be really smart for you guys is to break up Scout and Twyla.
She then walks away, and Chris doesn't buy it for a second, and frankly, the move she is suggesting is much worse than just voting her out.
She's so 40. You know, does she think I'm stupid? You know, she's still working Eliza though. She's strategizing, she's playing the game.
Later on, while talking to Eliza in bed privately, Eliza is expressing her honest feelings, and Amy lays on the guilt trip hard.
We should stop talking about it. Because I don't expect any miracle from you. I should just be quiet.
Scout says it is annoying that Amy is lounging around when there is work to be done, and then she says that Amy is a control freak, further painting the picture of why Amy is the ultimate villain, and also showing how Amy probably can't work with her in the future either. We then hear from Amy that she thinks Scout is jealous because of something. She isn't entirely sure what the something is though. Maybe it's because Amy is physically fit and younger and Scout isn't. If anything, it comes across as Amy is jealous since she has recently lost power in the game. At the immunity challenge, it is do or die, and they're playing a pretty elaborate game of shuffleboard, so really anybody here could win. And the entire game rides on Amy's last shot, and
Woo! Amy takes herself out. Chris wins immunity. Safe tonight? Tribal Council?
At Tribal Council, Amy seems to lack the ability to forgive or have short-term memory, which doesn't work well when you're on the bottom. She basically lambasts Twyla, and when Twyla tries to respond, Amy's face says it all.
I think when somebody flat out just disgustingly lies to you and says things to you that I really can't imagine, that person to me is just written out of my life. I don't have any part of that.
I did swear on my son's name, and I do ask forgiveness, but I am not the only freaking person that has lied in this game. Get over it. Grow up, get on with it. You've been had. Screw you.
13th person voted out of Survivor Vanuatu. Amy, the tribe has spoken.
Wow, talk about blowing it hard. Amy was leading an all-women's alliance that should have dominated, as Amy had no room for BS, but ultimately the women had to turn on someone once Chris won immunity, and Amy was the prime candidate. Her ruthless gameplay was fun to watch for me, so seeing her asked back for season 16, fans versus favorites, is a treat. Now let's see if she can evolve and learn from last time to be a better player.
39 days, 20 people, 1 survivor.
Here we go, Micronesia, a cast of 10 returnees from seasons 9 through 15 and 10 new players who are called fans, but I would say about half of them fit the bill. The show knows this is going to be a slaughter, as the first confessional given to us as an audience is from Jonathan Penner, who says, "This is going to be the Boston Red Sox versus a bunch of high schoolers." We then see Jeff introduce the favorites tribe to mixed reactions when Amy and Eliza from Vanuatu arrive, but actually I did fail to mention that one player from the pre-All-Stars era is here.
The most infamous of all survivors, Johnny Fairplay, who already looks intoxicated.
I wanted to throw up when I saw Johnny Fairplay. He's a pig. He's a loser pig. I would just love one moment to kick him. One moment, just to kick him hard in the shin.
So, Fairplay, are you dressing like me?
You want to know what you're playing for?
I'm actually impressed. I like to know that you have aspirations to get out of your current place in life.
Wow.
Yep, Fairplay is back, and right away, him and Yao get into a scuffle for a limited use immunity idol that sees him getting his head knocked against the boat. We go to the favorite speech where everyone is working hard, and Eliza jokes, "This is better than the last time." Well, yeah, Eliza, you didn't help last time, so you doing any work would be a benefit to the tribe. We then see that Ozzy and Amanda are now a thing, along with Parvati and James, and wow, this season is getting spicy fast. So then an alliance between Eliza, Amy, Yao-Man, and Penner is born.
This would be awesome.
We would be a really good group. Yeah, why don't we stick together starting now?
I love it.
All right, done. You guys, I love you guys. I love you guys. This is it.
Lines have been drawn in the sand. These Cook Islands people are against each other. Well, more specifically, they're against Penner. Suri and Fairplay are the swing votes on this tribe that everyone is fighting for. They go and talk to Fairplay about joining them, and this dude is playing both sides. He thinks he's being a double agent. He's yucking it up with both alliances. He snitches to them that Parvati's side wants Eliza out, and Penner says, "Oh yeah, I want Parvati out. I told you Cook Islands, they were at each other's throat." But then we go to the immunity challenge where the favorites are feeling cocky.
We're doing 3 courses for every meal. It's ridiculous. I'm getting fat. I've gained weight since I've been here.
Joel, you buying all this?
No. You guys are dumber than you look.
First immunity challenge is won by the fans!
Yeah, they lost immunity. And back at camp, Fairplay starts telling everyone, "Yeah, you know what? I'm okay with going. Please vote me out." What?
I mean, having a kid's a pretty powerful thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm just emotionally not here. So, I mean, I'm sorry, you know.
Is there any way that I could talk you into staying in?
No.
Fairplay is a loose cannon. Fairplay said to me that he wanted to go home. He just puts you on your serious stance guard because you don't know ever what he means.
Well, it seems like Fairplay is pretty set on it, so let's not belabor the point. At Tribal Council, Fairplay is eliminated in a 9-1 landslide.
Johnny Fairplay, the tribe has spoken. Get a hug.
We move on to episode 2 where the favorites get their acts straight and they win both reward and immunity. So in episode 3, we see the battle for Suri's loyalty is on. Both sides are trying to sway her with the knowledge that she will make or break their games. The favorites win reward, and with that they get to send one fan and one of their own to Exile Island, and this season Exile Island has a hidden immunity idol there. Amy volunteers, and while in exile,
Continue your quest like crossing the ocean.
I'm here on Exile Island again. Right away, Amy wanted to go to the other island. After having been to that island many times with Suri, I'm like, because Suri and I found all 4 clues. Amy kind of saw the clue up in the tree, and she could not figure it out, but I had to play dumb. You know, like, I don't know, because I'm just exhausted. I wasn't about to go island hopping again.
I think we should, because the tide's coming in, not out.
So pretty much clue searching had to come to an end.
yeah, she doesn't find it as it turns out. I guess she didn't have as much of an opportunity as she hoped, but the favorites then lose immunity, and Amy says, yeah, losing sucks, especially without the idol in my pocket. What I will say about Amy so far is that she seems very reserved and quite the opposite of the cutthroat player we saw in Vanuatu. Sure, she's a few years older, but nothing so far indicates if she plans on just doing this now and then shifting gears come the merge, because right now, Penner is leading their alliance, and she seems fine with that, which is not the Amy we saw in Vanuatu. She walks in on a discussion where the other alliance doesn't know whether they're going to vote out Yao-Man or Penner, and...
So who's she voting for? Me or Yao?
I don't know.
Just tell me, is it me or is it Yao?
I don't know. They're trying to decide. That's what they were talking about when you walked out.
I don't know what they've said to you about our trustworthiness or our desire to vote you out. I don't know what they've said, okay? It's not true. Look me in the eye.
The same argument that you're using?
Sure.
They use the same argument, so why should I believe this one over that one?
I'm not going to use any argument. I'm going to use common sense. I have no hidden agenda. I have no interest in voting any of the four of you out. That's the God's honest truth.
I know that you and y'all have y'all little thing, and if you want to stand here and say that y'all don't...
But there's only the two of us.
Cherie,
Hold on. That's my thing.
I appreciate that.
Keep it real.
Hold on. Let's keep it real.
Yeah.
I think that you and I have a little thing, okay?
But
I think that Amy and I have a little thing. It's ridiculous. It's,
call it what you want.
Okay,
and being like that is not really going to get my vote.
Geez, Penner is not helping their alliance to woo Cirie at all. Though to be fair, in my personal opinion, I think Cirie's already made her decision at this point. Penner then tells Amy and their alliance to lay all their votes on Parvati on the off chance that the other alliance splits, and at Tribal, him and Cirie fight. Well, the Penner gamble has not paid off so far for Amy, so they all go to vote, and...
First vote. Parvati. 2 votes, Parvati. Cirie. Yao Man. Third person voted out of fans versus favorites. Yao Man. The tribe has spoken. Time for you to go.
What the heck just happened? Penner and Yao Man voted for Parvati, like they said, but Amy voted for Cirie and Eliza voted with the majority for Yao Man. This alliance sucks. The next morning, Cirie says, Amy, why'd you vote for me? I would have never, ever, not in a million years, voted for you. Yeah, okay, Cirie. I don't believe that. But then Cirie and Penner fight for a third time. Fun. The favorites fortunately win reward and immunity. So we move on to episode 5 where a tribe swap takes place. This could be good for Amy as she stays on Molokal, and thankfully Penner and Eliza are on the other tribe. And so now she has the option to work with these new fans or use them as cannon fodder until the merge. She still has with her Ozzy, Amanda, and Cirie, but now she is joined by Eric, Tracy, Joel, and Chet of the fans. Their tribe ends up losing reward thanks to Chet, and during it we see multiple injuries like Penner puncturing his leg and Amy doing something to her knee. Back at camp, Amanda hauls in a shark and Ozzy is lusting after her even harder, but this extra food doesn't stop them from losing immunity. Thanks, Chet. And at Tribal Council, Joel is gone 6-2.
Joel, tribe has spoken. Time for you to go.
Episode 6 sees Amy talking to Tracy, and they both connect about being on the bottom in this game. And Amy says, hey, chin up. I was there before the tribe swap, and the key is to not have a bad attitude. Right after that, Molokal loses reward, thanks Chet, and back at camp, Cirie makes fun of the fans, and...
You know what's getting on my nerves? That not only do you have to play the game, but you have to teach them the game too. I don't want to teach.
It's starting to kind of get to me, the fan bashing. Yeah, they seem slow and they're not doing anything, but you know what, they're coming around, and we were there once too. So I'm kind of starting to feel, you know what, why not give them a chance? I thought about your position, and if we can stick together and like help each other out, then...
How tight are you and Cirie? Pretty tight?
No. When you guys first came to camp, I was happy to vote for Cirie then.
I know that Eric wants to vote for her.
Really?
Very strong on
Who else would vote for her?
Chet, me, and Eric, and you. And then she'd be gone, and I'd feel better.
I'm really conflicted right now. The thing is I just don't trust Cirie. I really trust you.
You should.
I really, really trust you.
Look, I'll look you right. I trust you.
I trust you too.
Okay?
I'm giving all my trust to you.
Okay.
Take care of me. Take care of me, okay, you guys, please? Because I'm really sticking my neck out there, you guys.
Well, now is not a bad time to consider this. If Amy flips to the fans, they would have a 4-3 advantage in a vote. In my opinion, they got nothing but time and opportunity. Let's make this happen. At the immunity challenge, they learn that Penner has been pulled from the game due to his knee injury, thanks Chet, and Irai hacks the immunity challenge and Molokal loses. Once again, thanks Chet. Back at camp, Chet says, I injured my foot, please vote me out. But then Eric does his best to pitch to Chet to vote with them, at least for this one tribal council. And
I'm like dying from this. You could help take Ozzy down because he's not expecting it. This would be the craziest play ever in the history of this game if you helped us do this. If you did this for us, it would be the biggest
gift you could give us on the way out, to just take a little pride. Me and Tracy would be so grateful. We would be amazingly grateful for that. That you could use your last dying breath to do something for us in this game. I would be incredibly
Just think about
grateful.
it, okay?
I did tell Tracy and Eric I would think about it, and I will continue to think about it, but to be honest, I'm not sure what I'm going to do.
First vote. Chet. Chet. 2 votes, Chet. Chet. That's 3 votes, Chet. 6th person voted out of Survivor fans versus favorites. Chet. Chet. The tribe has spoken. Time for you to go.
Love you guys.
I am baffled by that vote count. Why did Tracy and Chet vote for Eric? What happened that we didn't see? I truly don't know, and I'm very confused. But that was the perfect chance for a flip. In episode 7, they win reward, and on said reward challenge, some of them get a little frisky, including Amy.
I think that's her shower right there. Yeah.
You want to go shower?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah. Amy, come on.
My goodness. Ooh-wee. I don't know, I just looked over and there's like a couple pair of boobs in Ozzy's head, smack dab in the middle. I'm like, okay. The only thing funnier was Eric drooling from the side.
So much for being reserved and shy this season. Hello! At the immunity challenge, they learned that Kathy quit the game earlier, thanks Chet, and despite Ozzy going full-blown beast mode and getting them a tremendous lead, Amanda and Suri blow it on the puzzle. Thanks, Chet. Thanks. Back at camp, Ozzy wants Tracy gone instead of Eric, and Amy gets a little bit devious. Finally.
Ozzy's wanting Eric to stay because he's got a good relationship going with Eric. But I just feel like I can work more with Tracy. She's more into the game, and being 3rd or 4th among Suri, Ozzy, and Amanda is something that's definitely always on my mind. The plan that Tracy and I talked about is talk Amanda and Suri into voting for Eric, which they want to do anyways. Tell them that I'll vote with them. Go for that. We all 3 say we're voting for Eric. Ozzy doesn't know and doesn't want to vote for Eric, so he'll vote for Tracy, thinking we're all going to vote for Tracy. Well, underneath all of that, Tracy, Eric, and I are going to vote for Ozzy and just take Ozzy out at the knees. If Suri and Amanda don't vote with me, there's a whole nother path that could be taken. I'm kind of going both ways in my head still. Am I going to take Ozzy out, or am I going to stick with these people that I've known from the beginning and vote out one of the fans? Tonight's decision is a very big decision. It could change the game in a serious way.
First vote. Tracy. Ozzy. 1 vote Tracy, 1 vote Ozzy. Tracy. 2 votes Tracy. Tracy. That's 3 votes Tracy. 7th person voted out of Survivor fans versus favorites. Tracy. Tracy, the tribe has spoken. Time for you to go.
It is now episode 8, and all this work on flipping has been for naught as the fans can't get their act together and Amy doesn't vote against the favorites 1 time. We then witness a dark edit as Amy and Suri hunt crabs, giving them like these killer vibes, and Amy gets one. But then Ozzy is upset because others see him as the leader of their tribe, which he is, but he doesn't want that title, and Amy says, who cares?
Well, who cares about that stuff? Don't worry about that.
But we're getting ready to turn the corner where people do want to do something like that.
I don't. Like last night, Tracy was trying everything in her power to get you to get voted off. She was coming to me, she's coming to Suri, she's like trying everything. Who cares?
This morning, Amy ended up telling me that she was approached by Tracy and asked to vote for me. But she'd said, you know, that she wasn't going to do that and she's on my side. But Amy's a little too adamant about that. And as much as she says she's on my side, I'm starting to get uneasy feeling.
That's a bold move, Amy. I wouldn't say it's smart, but it's bold. Ozzy seems to see through her lies, but he has nothing to back that suspicion up. They lose immunity, and back at camp, Eric decides, screw it, I am going tonight, so I might as well throw a Hail Mary and snitch on Amy to get her out.
How well do you guys trust Amy?
I don't know. Why?
Because she's been trying to get something together with the I-Rise since probably Joel left. She's told me about different alliances that you guys have had. She said that she was part of the Owlman's alliance, and she said she had nowhere to go, and that's why she came to me and Chet and Tracy.
Then we merged it, it's gonna go right back to IRI.
It's either me or Amy on their side.
Wow. You don't know who to trust here. You have Eric fighting for his life, who'll say anything right now, will sell his soul to the devil to stay. And then you have Amy, who's proven time and time again that she can't be trusted, that I can't trust her.
Are you telling him everything since day one?
Trying to.
So you're being totally honest that Amy was...
Yes.
Was Amy... Did Amy try and get me out?
Yes. I'm gonna write down Amy tonight. I just want you to know that.
Right.
And I would like you to help me as a fellow competitor to stay in this game.
I don't feel like bad about anything. He's gonna do whatever he can to stay in the game. You don't feel like I've done anything to hurt you, have you? I've stuck by you 100%, and I always will.
Technically, Amy is right, but according to Suri and Amanda, Amy has done nothing to prove she is more trustworthy than Eric, and that's a real fault on her. They seem to think that given the opportunity, Amy will flip. Maybe. I mean, maybe. Amy so far seems very content to sit on her hands, so who really knows? And at Tribal Council, Ozzy hints that Amy is a liar, which causes her to cry, and then he straight up asked her,
"Were you gunning for me with Tracy and Eric, or were you not?"
There is no way I would have ever voted for you with Tracy and Eric, ever. I was giving them hope and letting them have a good, peaceful camp, and there is no way I would have ever voted for you. Ever, Ozzy. The only way I would vote for you is to win the $1 million.
First vote, Amy. Eric. 1 vote Amy, 1 vote Eric. Amy. 2 votes Amy. 8th person voted out of Survivor fans versus favorites. Amy.
You guys better start winning.
Amy, the tribe has spoken.
Yeah, Amy blew it this season. She got in with the wrong alliance and didn't do enough come the tribe swap to get numbers on her side. She had multiple opportunities and for some reason they just fell apart. Plus, getting caught in some obvious lies at the end didn't help her case. What happened to the killer instinct we saw in Vanuatu? I don't know, but I missed it. I get her not wanting to be a villain again, maybe, but Amy may have swung the pendulum too far in the wrong direction this season, which is a shame. So what do you think about Amy Cusack? Why did she go from killer to pushover? Let me know down in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and doubly thanks for liking and subscribing. See you all next time.